Hey everyone, it's Renee Cormier from the Fractional Referral Network. Today we've got the spotlight on Joseph Kershenbaum, who is a longtime member of the Fractional Referral Network. He is a lawyer. He's a fractional everything with a background in operations and accounting, and he's been a very successful entrepreneur. So he has so much to offer his clients. So Joe, give us a little more detail about who you are and what kind of work you do as a fractional.
I am a four-time founder of companies in four different industries. Some of them has scaled to be quite large global companies. One went public. I also spent about a decade as a Fortune 500 lawyer, so that gave me a little bit of sophistication working on transactions and business deals for some of the largest companies in the world. Um, as a fractional, I've started four companies. So when you start companies, you basically do everything until you can afford to hire someone or you raise some capital. So I've been a CEO, a CFO, a COO. I have done go to market. I've been head of marketing. I've brought in sales. Right now, I presently help SMEs and startups in five general areas because that's where I see the greatest need for someone like me: strategy, operations, go to market, scaling, and capital raise.
Excellent. So
Uh,
what made you decide to go fractional instead of pursuing traditional employment?
I became a fractional employee out of necessity rather than need. I had a company go under during COVID. Was 8 years old, and we were leveraged, and revenues just everything shut down.
Yeah.
So rather than start a new company, I was looking for a job. Again, it was tough during COVID, so I became a fractional executive, and I found that to be useful. I love being part of a team. I spent half my career consulting because being a lawyer, you're essentially like a fractional employee. You've got a lot of different clients that you have to juggle. And I didn't want to be a partner in a law firm. I love building and growing companies. I did that when I was a kid before I got my MBA and my law degree. So ultimately, that's my ultimate goal. When I take on, especially a large project, I'm always looking for the opportunity to grow the company where I could join them full time. I think that's my long-term goal is to build a fifth company again.
Okay.
Um,
So
I,
what do you enjoy most about the work you do?
um, I have done every facet of building a company, but what I love is operations and strategy. I'm process oriented. I'm really good at spotting issues because of my background, particularly as a lawyer. I mean, what do you do as a lawyer? You see issues and you try to solve problems, and I brought that to operations. So I often partner very well with a sales oriented CEO who needs me to set up the process, do the operations, or if it's a larger company, how can we grow? What can we use? I emphasize AI. I'm almost done with a book on AI, and there's a lot of benefits to using it. Although we're still in baby steps, there's
Yeah.
still things that don't work, and you have things like hallucinations, which is basically, it, as the word defines itself. I mean, um, you have to make sure that everything you get from AI is true and accurate, and that's not always the case.
Yeah. um, yeah. It forces you to think, even though it wants you not to.
As we were talking beforehand, it can make you look much younger than you are, and
Yes.
but truth is critical. Truth and accuracy, as you said, are critical. So you can only, I think in 5 years, AI will be very different, but it's just like all the other inflection points we've had: the PC, the cloud, mobile, recently during what I call the technology age, although, I mean, we've had it throughout history: fire and railroads and cars and
Yes.
radio and TV. During our current age, I mean, when things start, um, it takes a while. It's like a snowball.
There's a little
So
bit of
it,
chaos that
there's a
happens.
little bit of chaos,
Yeah.
and even with the cloud, for example, most companies in North America are only about 25% are using the cloud. There's
Oh,
still a
really?
tremendous opportunity, but it really came out in 2012, 2014. That's really when the cloud era began. So it can take some time. Um, but AI, there's tremendous potential.
Okay. So what's one challenge you're working through right now? Anything exciting going on?
One challenge I'm working through, well, I am finishing my book, and that is like a project because you've got to devote the time to it. You've got to make sure it's accurate. I have always written um, to learn. It's you. How do you how do you learn? Well, you teach yourself, you teach others, you teach a class. Or for me, it's starting a company in an industry I didn't know and figuring it out, and sometimes doing research beforehand. For more than a year if it's a highly regulated industry. So the major project I'm working on right now is this book because I got busy with clients. Should have been out last year. I'm going to focus on it for the rest of the year. And I just finished a project last week for a fintech SaaS client. So I'm looking for some more, and it was a major client. So I have more time now. I'm looking for opportunities, but in the meantime, got to focus on getting this book out.
Yeah.
That's it's my baby, just like the company was.
Yes. Well, that's good. You know what, I think we need purpose, and that feeling of what's next is a tough feeling. So
It's
having a book, having a business, having something to a reason to get up and go is important.
Many of us in our lives look backward, and I've just described what I've done for the past 40 years of my life. But in fact, it's all about the future. It's an
Yes.
open door. You never know what's going to happen. You don't know what path you're going to take. Things happen, and that's what's exciting about life. And we
Yes.
do need a purpose, as you said. Um, Many people they look forward to being age 62 in the United States and getting on Social Security and retiring. But for me, I want to work forever. I mean, I'm curious and
Yes.
learn new industries and start new things and do new things and stay active. Maybe someday I'll become a gamer, which I've never been. You know, yeah, try
You
to
never
figure
know.
that out.
Something I always say early retirement is the express route to the adult diaper aisle in the pharmacy. I think if you want to age quickly, stop doing things. Sit in a chair, have no purpose.
Well,
Um,
I, I
do
saw that
nothing.
I saw that in my family, and I may have mentioned to you before. My mother was a very successful entrepreneur in the 70s and 80s, and she turned 60 and she had been a real estate developer and managed her own property, and I helped her build that business. And she retired, and she had plenty of money, and she sat for a year, and she grew bored and depressed. So she went back to her original career. She didn't do it for the money. She needed to have purpose, and
Yes.
she worked as a nurse in an operating room until she was 90,
Wow.
and she only left because they let her go. Um, she was very upset about it, but we all need purpose, I think. And some people, I mean, they get it. I've got a few siblings who have retired, but they're very, very active. My sister is always traveling new places and hiking.
Yeah.
Um, and others in my family have retired, but they keep. Yeah, it's really important to have hobbies and keep active if you're going to retire, and
Yes.
not just sit.
Don't just sit. I see a lot of people that just sit. To me, I can't sit at the best of times. Never
Oh, I know. And maybe that's part of my nature. I go on vacation, and after a week, I'm restless. It's
Oh,
like let's get
yeah.
back and let's. let's work on this company, let's work on this project. I mean, I can only sit on a beach reading books or
I
going on a
hate
cruise so
resorts.
much.
Yeah, I hate them. Sitting around eating and drinking all day. Like, forget it. I want to get out and do stuff. I want to see things. I want to.
And maybe that's, I can appreciate that, but also you go on I'm somebody who loves to go on these adventure vacations. And once I went up to see the baby seals calving and on Hudson Bay, and
Yes.
it was like you had to work at it. And we helicoptered up, and it wasn't just sitting on a beach. Of course, it was also in midwinter. Uh, a little bit
And
chilly.
not the warmest place in Canada.
It wasn't, but it was. I never thought of doing anything like that, and it was tremendous
Yeah,
fun. I learned a
cool
lot,
experience, right?
lectures, and yeah,
Yeah,
we were based in PEI, and it was that was a great vacation. So,
that's there. Nice. It's stuff that we don't even do as Canadians, mostly. Like that stuff's all out there. We don't even realize it. Um,
well, part of how we are in our lives is, I lived in New York City. I never went to the Empire State Building unless people visited.
yeah,
The first time somebody visited is the first time I went. We don't see our local things, and we fly
that's
all over trying to.
That's right. If long ago, I used to teach English to adult immigrants, and so we would do class trips. That was the only way I saw the CN Tower was because of those trips.
Right. But
Think
as a
of all these
tourist,
little tourist attractions that we, the museums and things that we know they're there, but we can go anytime and we don't even think about it. And yet, like what a great way to spend a day.
sure.
Go to a museum, go to an art gallery. We do it when we travel. We don't do it when we live in the
That
in our
and that's so
neighborhood.
true, Renee. I mean, I first time in Toronto, in the '80s, CN Tower, some
Yeah,
of the other thing, Yonge Street, the
yeah,
the interesting things to see and do. And I'm in Boston, and I'm actually trying to. I just went to a museum that I'd never been to that has been around for 20 years.
there.
So I'm trying to do that here, and and being an understanding that there's a lot to offer here. And it's the
Yes,
same thing, to get back to our discussion in building a company. It's finding those niches that you might overlook, but hey, here's an opportunity to grow sales in a different way, or here's an opportunity to market to someone else that you haven't been, even though you've got your ideal customer profile, but you're not catching everybody. Here's a different way to do it.
yes,
So it's the same thing. It's sometimes when we're in a company, it's hard to see the forest for the trees. And as an outside fractional consultant, sometimes it's much easier than if you are in a company. And that's where a good fractional can really offer benefit.
yes. Yeah, when you're too close to a problem, you don't often see it. So, what's one piece of advice you'd give someone who's just starting out in the fractional world?
Number one, develop your ideal customer profile,
Yeah,
because then you could target it in your marketing and sales to them.
yeah,
Um, I have only marketed on LinkedIn. It's brought me in plenty of business. Although I do go to events in Boston, I've met people there, I've gotten projects there. So it's kind of local because it's a big hub for startups and innovation. And on LinkedIn, um, many others may need a website as well.
yeah,
I'm thinking of doing a website. And that's quick and easy to do now compared to even a few years ago. Again, you can use AI to do that and
yes,
set yourself up, but make sure that it's truthful and accurate, because
yes,
AI can give you the wrong answers or make you look better than you actually are. And,
and,
for years, Microsoft had what was called vaporware, and it's puffery, and the features didn't come out in their software. And not to knock Microsoft, one of the greatest companies ever, but you're a small fractional, you're a single person, you're part of a group. You've got to be able to do what you say you can do and do it
yes.
well.
And the AI generated websites will generate phony reviews from phony people, and they'll all be 5 stars. So, like, get those off your website. That's my 2 cents on that one. That will destroy your credibility instantly. Um, so,
I had a fractional job earlier this year, and I wasn't sure about this person that was hiring me. And I looked at this person's LinkedIn, and she had 60 reviews saying what a wonderful person she was, because her LinkedIn was so, it was very impressive. And I just looked at all those reviews, and I didn't have to go further. I realized, that's, and I mean, 60, not a
Real
few,
people.
real people that were on LinkedIn, and she'd given plenty of good reviews. And I said, this is somebody I can work with. And I got a great project with her. Turned out to be a lovely person. I've referred
Good.
people to her, and and that project, as I mentioned, that's the project that ended last week. But we vowed to work with each other again. So it's really important that you can trust the individual and get them to trust you. And um, and one way is accurate reviews.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So what's one recent aha moment you had in business or life?
What's one what?
One recent aha moment. Like, is there anything that's happened that you're like, yeah,
Um,
have I caught you off guard?
no,
No.
the aha moment, and I can say this more as I went to becoming a fractional. It was when I first started as a fractional, and I realized um, I had an awful lot of knowledge I can provide. Sometimes we don't elevate ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't have that confidence in ourselves. And I realized on my first fractional project, which turned into a pretty good sized project, it was many tens of thousands of dollars. And I said, I got hired for one thing, but I can do this for them. I can do this for them. I can do this for them based on my background, which I always said, well, I just started a few companies. I built them. I've been successful. But so the aha moment is realizing I had an awful lot to give. And which is why I say I can do this, I do that, I do this, because I've done it. And I can also, while I don't practice law, I can spot issues and recommend to the CEO or the executives I'm working with, hey, you've got to look at this
Yeah.
because it could be an issue. By the same token, I work with someone who, um, in the past year, who ignored the law. I mean, really ignored it. And I said, look, this could be a criminal offense.
Wow.
You just can't do it this way, and you've got to go and follow the regulations. So
You,
um,
you saved them probably hundreds of millions of dollars, if not a jail sentence.
Well, it's I don't know about hundreds of millions, but certainly the fines get up into the millions and the tens of millions. And the issue is, to get back to what you were saying, it's I realized I have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
So that was my kind of aha moment. It's just not like I have, having done so much, I have a lot of knowledge that somebody that might have been in a business for 10 or 15 years or only in one industry.
Yeah.
I've consulted to so many industries and built companies in four of my own. So that was my kind of aha moment. It's like having my own self confidence in my abilities to really assist others.
Nice. Well, Joe, I have to say you're one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. So I'm very happy that you came to
Well,
talk to me
that's
today.
mutual, and thank you so much for saying that. I always love speaking with you. It's always an interesting and fun experience for me.
Good. That's good. All right. So this is it. I'm going to end this call and thank you so much. Have a great
Thank
day.
you, Renee. I appreciate it.
Okay. And
Sure.
anybody watching, please join the Fractional Referral Network and connect with Joe Kershenbaum. He's a guy you really need to know.
I recommend the Fractional Referral Network.
Good. Thank you.